Hello everyone and welcome to W3L Wrestling Showdown here on the W3L network. Thank you for joining me this week. Thank you for joining me every single week. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It's one button click and you'll be notified every time an edition of Showdown goes online for you to watch. Now, with Blondie Barrett retaining the Heavyweight Championship on our New Year's Eve edition of Showdown, this means that everybody's lining up to be the next challenger for him and that championship. And the match you're about to see has two participants who definitely want to put themselves in the firing line. On the one hand, we have the highly popular Mike Musso, known by all, loved by many. He of course spent 2017 battling the very good Mr. Yun Chimaki. With their issues seemingly put to one side, he wants to re-establish himself as a championship contender and hopefully take the championship away from Barrett. But he's got a tough task ahead of him. He's facing the Bulgarian baker, Božidar Branimir. Not a man that appears in the Showdown very often, but has been appearing on many of our live events. He's deadly, he's much more powerful than he used to be, and he's going to prove a real handful for Mike Musso. Will the baker rise to the occasion? Alright, I know it's a bad pun. Give me a break. Or will Mike Musso get the victory over his masked opponent? So the only way for us to find out, let's go down to the ring and see what happens here on Showdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match will be a singles match set for 1 fall. Introducing first of all, he is from Sofia, Bulgaria, and weighs the equivalent of 280 stale loaves of bread. This is the Bulgarian baker, Božidar Branimir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce here with you on Wrestling Showdown, and Mike Musso in the red tights with the black stars is set to take on a man that we haven't seen on Showdown since May of 2015. That's of course the Bulgarian baker Božidar Branimir. Well, the baker's certainly been a bit more verbal than he normally is, and he's presenting Musso with a loaf of bread. Now it is true that the Bulgarian baker does actually run a bakery, that's what he does as his day job, and so he's obviously made one fresh. He takes a lot of pride in his artisan bakery.
This bread is stale.
Musso saying it's stale. Well, you just have to take Musso's word for it, I suppose. So yeah, May 2015 was the last time the baker appeared on Showdown. He has been part of W3L regularly, a lot of our live events. He's generally always part of our northern tours every year. But he's appeared a little bit more this year, through one reason and another. Doing business in his bakery back in his hometown of Sofia, Bulgaria is going quite well, it seems. And one thing, if you'd have seen the baker before, you've noticed that he's changed his image somewhat. He's wearing a different mask for one thing, and he's obviously bulked up a bit. He used to be quite lean, but he's put on a bit of size, a bit of mass, a lot more muscle. And I believe this is to enable him to tackle some of the heavyweights in W3L a little more easily. I'm talking, of course, about likes of Mike Musso, Joey Legend, likes of Tim Wiley, TJ Rage, and of course the heavyweight champion Blondie Barrett. So I think the Baker's looking at maybe being around a little more than normal, or more than usual, as I should say, and perhaps making a run at a championship. I mean, the first time these two men met, Musso and the Baker, was back in the September of 2012, and Musso was heavyweight champion at that point, and he defended the title successfully against the Baker. So Branimir has had a taste of championship action, but has never managed to win a title as of yet. And you can see all the weightlifting he's done, all the mass he's put on has benefited him, because neither man is budging. In the past, Musso would have been the bigger, more stronger man, but obviously the Baker has had plenty opportunity to improve his physique, improve his muscle. Again, he doesn't wrestle in WTL all that often, just now and again tends to go for tours. Still competes back in Bulgaria for the Bulgarian Wrestling Federation, which is where he initially trained. And so far the match has been a stalemate. That's not a reference to that loaf of bread that he tried to present Musso with earlier on. There's another lock up again. I think the Baker, with a handful of hair, backs Musso into the corner. No stranger to cheating as the Baker. And, you know, for somebody that's not been around regularly, or not as regularly as a lot of people, it says a lot about him and what he's done in his time in WTL. He was invited to be part of our 200th event, which you may remember was October last year in Glenrothes. He's involved in a triple threat match. So it was nice that management extended him the courtesy of being part of that, because of course it was an event that celebrated the past 200 live events at WTL and obviously looked towards the future. So it was nice that Baker could be part of it. Musso's now backed him into the corner. And I have to say, I was slightly unsure as to how Musso would focus on this match as he just knocks the Baker down. Like, Musso's dander's up, and to be honest, it has been up for most of last year. I'm sure you know the issues between he and the very good Mr. Ewan G. Mackey. They raged for the better part of that past 12 months. Because Musso wanted to get his hands on Mackey, but often there was a roadblock in the form of Tim Wiley in his way. But they did meet at Resolution 11 in that dog collar match, and Musso certainly put Mackey in his place. Whether the issues are finished forever remains to be seen, but for the time being, Musso is looking at new challenges. And while I don't think he's looking past the Baker, I do think both of these men are going to be looking at the Rock and Roll Express Blondie Barrett, who's of course your heavyweight champion, won the title at Resolution 11. Musso taking the arm of the Baker. Is it locked up? The Baker does have actually a fairly powerful set of arms. He's got very strong tendons in his forearms, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, if you're stirring bowls full of like yeast and dough and that sort of thing regularly, because a lot of his stuff is made by hand, he does pride himself on that, then it does build up your arms no end. You know, the president of Bulgaria is a big fan of Bozdar Branimir's Artisan Bakery, and Musso with a lovely leg takedown. That's something new from him, pulling at the thigh just above the knee, and the Baker went down. I do think the Baker has somewhat sacrificed a little speed and agility while putting on that mass. He obviously feels it's for the best and feels it will help him improve his game. Whether or not that is true remains to be seen. But I mean, certainly he's not as quick or as agile on his feet as he used to be. However, the converse of that is he's now a lot stronger, a lot more powerful. That's why Musso's had to out-wrestle him, because I don't think he can out-power him, to be honest. It's a test of strength. You see neither man budging. And Musso having to go to these fancy takedowns, and I say fancy just because they're not something that Musso normally does. He puts a knee in the bicep, in the shoulder area
off the Baker and just leans in it. Of course, the Baker then ends up down the canvas and has to watch his shoulders aren't both down, because that would count as a pinfall attempt. So Musso, often Mike Musso's the bigger man in the match, the stronger man, and he can really get away with just throwing his opponent around and brawling. But when you're in with a guy who can match you in power and in, maybe not in height but certainly in size, then he has to go to his wrestling ability, which Musso can do quite well, just doesn't always get the chance to show it. Branimir backs him at the ropes. Musso with a reversal launches him at the corner, and again a collision and neither man budging. It's watching two vans collide with each other. Nobody's budging here. I think the Baker's going to have to dig into his bag of tricks if he's going to get the better of Musso, because he can't out wrestle him, it seems, and neither man can knock the other one down. We've seen these huge shoulder blocks, and both of them being ricocheted off the ropes. The way out there, they end up in the third row. Hang on, Musso goes down, leapfrog, and a big shoulder block, one step ahead of the Baker. And it's not that the Baker's a rookie in any way. When he debuted back in 2008, his first W3L match was in 2009. So I mean, he's been part of the company on and off for quite a while. He's got a fair bit of experience. And the Baker perhaps not going his way in the match. He's just taking his time on the floor. Just gets a count of 10. Musso getting some strategy from Rey Mysterio Jr. And the Baker focusing on the crowd. And again, have you seen the Baker before as he now goes to got this just some forearms as Musso took his eye off the ball, as it were. The Baker's much more verbal than he used to be. Normally we content to his actions do the talking, but now he's letting his mouth what's the saying, he's writing checks, and apparently he's able to cash them as well, because he had the advantage over Musso. Not so much now though. Musso ducks that clothesline and a big hip toss, and I think somewhat there Musso was expecting to hip toss the Baker the way he had always done it in the past whenever he had the chance, and that was to lift him high in the air, because the Baker's put some size on, not quite as light as he used to be. All that extra muscle does indeed weigh you down. The Baker some short range jabs there, uncharacteristically dressed all in black, looking like a Bulgarian bank robber than a Baker, but you know, it's his choice I suppose. And he's choking Musso on the ropes. I think the Bakers realise this may be his tactic. Cheat, cut the oxygen supply off Musso, get the better from wherever possible. So he's choking on the ropes again. And if it slows down the merchandise, that's all to the good, I have to say. Oh, that was cheeky. Just smacked the rope and it kind of recoiled into Musso's face. Musso firing back. He's got his eyes on that heavyweight title and knows that every victory, particularly at this stage of the year, is going to be so important. So that closely won't help his cause. Remember, on our live Showdown event back in November, he got knocked out at the #1 contenders tournament thanks to a double DQ courtesy of Blondie Barrett. Musso's got his eye on getting that title match. Obviously Joey Legend, who's also in the match against Musso, he got a match on our New Year's Eve episode of Showdown. Came very close to beating Blondie Barrett, but it's not to be. So Musso's wanting his chance. If the Baker beats him, he's going to leapfrog him in the rankings. Baker applying that side headlock, just squeezing him. So he's down to one knee. It's hard for him to stand up because he's got to lift part of the Baker as well. You see the Baker's crouching to make it harder for Musso. But it's crowd on Musso's side, of course. So this is up at an awkward angle. Trying to feed off the energy from this audience. And he's getting some jabs in. Don't know how much damage it's doing to the Baker, but it's enough to make him break his grip. Musso ducked. And dropped him down with a thud. It's a big man to be thrown about. And Musso lands right on the knees. It's a combination of two moves he does like to use. That back suplex and then the big splash to the Baker obviously had it scouted. Baker might be setting up for the Losho Stachka. He's used that before, it's a running knee lift. Although, to be fair, he used it when he was a little more live. So unless he's changed it, of course. And he does like to utilise the breadwinner, which is an inescapable submission hold. So if he applies that, it's going to be curtains for the merchandise. What is he going for here? Musso blocks it. Baker's trying to suplex him. Musso knows to deaden. Oh, now Musso tried to reverse it and the Baker was able to block it. See, he hooks a leg around his opponent's leg. Now the Baker's trying to lift him up, but it's not to be. Musso just taking his time, repositioning him somewhat. Now he tries. Oh, that was the closest one yet. And this late in the match, we've gone like a good 10 to 15 minutes. Both men are going to be feeling the fatigue before each man's gone through. And neither man getting the advantage over this vertical suplex. And neither man's gaining an advantage. Both men blocking the suplex, both men unable to complete the move. Musso kicking his legs. And he does it! Mike Musso, what an effort that took. He had to dig deep into his reserves of energy there, and you can see just by looking at him how much that's taken out of him. The Bulgarian Baker got suplexed. It's knocked the wind out of him, but Musso really slow to follow up because it took a big effort. And both men moving quite slowly now. And it's the Baker that strikes first. But Musso may have gained something of a second wind, it looks like. He's reeling, but he's firing off a forearm for every one that the Baker hits him with. Because neither man wants to start 2018, our second edition of Showdown this year, with a loss. That's why the Baker resorting to his bag of tricks. Just setting up Musso in the corner, biding his time. This may end up being a mistake, and it was. Gave Musso enough time to move. Musso runs him the clothesline and dives upon him, squashing the Baker in the corner, and hits that facebuster and the big knee lift, and down goes Bozdar Branimir, who rather cleverly falls towards the ropes, meaning that if Musso had gone for a pinfall attempt, he would have had to spend more time and energy dragging him in the middle of the ring. Musso on the middle rope, hits a clothesline, but not following up, however. Is he going to go back up the top rope again? I think he is. Now that may be a mistake. Has he given Bozdar Branimir time to recover? Musso climbing up beside the Bulgarian flag, and yep, it's not paid off. Branimir with those solid hands. Think how many trays of rolls he throws around in a day. Going for a superplex. Now we saw what the standing suplex inside the ring did to the Baker after he spent ages trying to get the better of their opponent. If he does this to Musso off the middle rope, that's got to end the match surely, but Musso not go down with that fight. And Branimir lands on his feet, he's dazed, and Musso has a body press. Wraps him up, hooks a leg, and scores the pinfall victory. Mike Musso hits the body press to win his match. So what a great way to start 2018 here on Wrestling Showdown for Mike Musso. A big victory over the Bulgarian baker Bozidar Branimir.
Mike Musso defeats Bozidar Branimir, and that's surely going to push him up the ladder of contention as he looks towards Blondie Barrett and that heavyweight championship. Sure you've not heard the last of the baker as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, management are putting the finishing touches on our next set of live events. The details will be coming to you in the weeks to come here on Showdown, so make sure you're paying attention, make sure you're watching every single week, and you'll find out where those events are, when those events are, and how you can be part of them. Because, let's be honest, as fun as Showdown is every week, watching wrestling on a screen, it's not quite the same as it is being there live. You don't quite get the ambience, all the extra things that you don't see on Showdown. So if you can get the chance to see us live, please do so, because trust me, you will not be disappointed. Now, if you want to find out about these events and more about W3L in general, hit up our website. It's w3lwrestling.com. You can also give us a like on Facebook if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter, which you really should. We're on Instagram as well. Subscribe to this channel, like I said before, because you'll be notified every time a new edition of Showdown goes online. Make sure you use the hashtag W3L Wrestling Showdown whenever you talk about the show, which I'm guessing is quite a lot, right? Thought so. And come back here in 7 days' time. We will continue our run of fantastic wrestling action right here on Wrestling Showdown.